good, huh? Okay, I'll let you and Garrow work on that other headset sound in his if he wants that. So he stepped out for a minute, so.
Ready to go? Got your notes? Redmond's in there? Jesus Christ, it smells like shit right here. Is that you? Yeah, that shit beetle's right there. I was told you. Morning, John. Yeah. You brought all those muffins for everybody? Thank you. Nice, thank you. No, everybody. Hell yeah. You see Redmond's throwing today? He's gonna open up, so throw two innies and when you have a chance too, we got possibly 2 other guys to replace those guys. So just want to talk to you. One's like a pitcher slash kind of two-way. One's an infielder and then one's an arm. So we'll talk about it, but yeah, he better be. We get to that second game, he's going. He's gonna go CG too. We're gonna pull angels on him. No. Thank you.
Breakfast in Grand Forks. Welcome, everyone. It's time for Goldpanners baseball here on PannerVision. Garrow Von Dane with you live on the final day of the 2023 Grand Forks International here in southern British Columbia. The Goldpanners picking up 2 victories yesterday to advance today's semifinals against the top seed Everett Merchants. Had incorrect information yesterday, so I tried to let everybody know on Twitter. The Goldpanners facing the undefeated Merchants, who went 4-0 in round-robin play. And the Merchants are well-rested. They've got a lot of fresh arms. And the Goldpanners, who played 2 games yesterday, a game the day before, are hoping they have something left to take on these Everett Merchants that they lost to 7-6 earlier this week. It was, I believe, on Wednesday. In a kind of a wild game, but Everett pounded out 15 hits against the Goldpanners on that day. Everett, the only team that went 4-0 in round-robin play, taking on our Goldpanners, who have gotten red hot, especially at the plate in the last couple of games. The Panners had a monstrous day yesterday against Calgary and then Coquitlam. 30 runs combined in the 2 games, both short games because of the run rule, and 34 hits. The Panners are the road team because of the seedings, and the Merchants are on the field, and the Panners will bat first, and starting things off will be Carl Peters. Carl Peters, who had an unbelievable day yesterday, especially in the Coquitlam nightcap. On the mound is Ryder Vane. First pitch is fouled back to the wall. Ryder Vane, number 30, the right-hander for the Everett Merchants out of Everett, Washington, run by Harold Pyatt. Goldpanners managed by first-year head coach Brett Latchman. He's assisted by Carlos Gonzalez, the bench coach, who also coaches at third, and pitching coach Jack Gonzalez, no relation, who's at first base. 0-2 after a couple of foul balls to Peters. Peters in that Coquitlam game yesterday went 4 for 5 with 8 runs batted in. And a home run, a couple of doubles, even stole a bag. The 0-2 pitch takes just outside. It's 1-2. Carl Peters for Fairbanks, a sophomore from the College of San Mateo from Littleton, Colorado. Eric Smelko is on deck. Down low, ball 2. After Smelko will be the pitcher/designated hitter, Logan Redeman. Donovan Ratfield in the cleanup spot. Evan Scally's moved up in the lineup to number 5 after a red-hot day yesterday. This one's fouled back, and the baseball lands right in front of us here. And sits on the wood in the front of the press box and snuck through a hole in the netting. The 2-2 pitch to the leadoff spot, Carl Peters. And he grounds this one right side. Charging, scooping, throwing, and getting. The runner is Aaron Barber. 4-3 putout of Peters brings up Eric Smelko. So Evan Scally in the 5 spot, Kobe Williams batting 6th, Tyler Richardson 7th, Eddie Alfaro in the lineup batting 8th, and Ty Barango in the 9 spot. Eric Smelko, good day yesterday. Went 3 for 5 against Coquitlam with a home run, a monstrous shot over the right field fence. He swings and pops this one up right side, foul territory, and the first baseman in front of the Goldpanner dugout makes the catch, Will Herron. Smelko retired quickly. Panners defeated Coquitlam last night 15-7. A 3-run home run by Carl Peters off of Brett Honeysett, the reliever who had just come into the game. And the first pitch was a 3-run home run, and that created the run rule because it was the 8th inning and it gave the Goldpanners an 8-run lead. Earlier, the Panners defeated Calgary 15-5 in a 7-inning game. This one's chopped by Redeman, and he will race up the line, but it rolls foul. So Logan Redeman in the 3 spot as the designated hitter and pitcher. Morning baseball here on PannerVision. 8 o'clock start for our Fairbanks friends. Redeman, the freshman from San Diego. Two outs, bases empty. Hit right side, but it's foul. The final game last night was the Seattle Blackfins and Grand Forks Slag Dusters, and the Blackfins won 3-1 to advance to the other semifinal today against the Honkers. Swing and a miss. Redeman strikes out in a 1-2-3 first for Ryder Vane. Merchants coming to bat, no score. Goldpanners baseball here on PannerVision on a Sunday morning from Grand Forks, British Columbia. Final day of the tournament. 4 teams remain. Goldpanners and Merchants. The Blackfins and Honkers will play at noon. Championship game scheduled for 3 p.m. And another gorgeous day here in Grand Forks. Making his Goldpanner debut on the mound, Logan Redeman, the soon-to-be freshman at San Diego. Redeman facing this tough Merchants lineup, starting with Zaya Aklis. And he chops one over the mound, charging it. It's the shortstop Barango, and he can't make the plays. It falls off the end of the glove. Going to be a tough throw to get Aklis, I suspect, and it is a base hit. So Aklis on an infield single as the Merchants catch a break. Brings up Jordan Justice and then Aaron Barber. The top 3 in the order were incredible against the Goldpanners in the last meeting on Wednesday. The top 3 are a little bit different today with Lundberg not in the top 3. He's been moved down to the 8th spot, but Aklis, Lundberg, and Barber in the first game were dominant for the Merchants. Aklis went 4 for 5, and now he's 1 for 1 today. Jordan Justice, the batter. He was not in the lineup in the first meeting. Throw to first, runner back safely. The top three in the order for the Merchants were 10 for 14 in that game. It was a wild game. One of the more entertaining ones we've seen, except for the fact that the Merchants hung on to win 7-6. Swing and a miss, it's 0-2. The live arm of Logan Bredeman, the youngster. The runner at first base, and an 0-2 count on Justice. Upstairs for a ball, it's 1-2. After Justice will be Aaron Barber. Barber went 4 for 5 in that first game, too. And then Jack Johnson in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth is Will Heron. Sixth, Keaton Fisher. Kai Alberghini in the 7th spot. Braden Lundberg 8th. And Lucas Delisle batting 9th. Swing and a miss. And Justice strikes out. Looking confident on the hill in the early going is Logan Bredeman. Runner at first base and one away for Aaron Barber. I mentioned he went 4 for 5 in the first game. All singles, 3 runs batted in. The Merchants had 15 hits in 8 innings against the Goldpanners. Keaton Chase struggled 2 2/3, 4 runs on 8 hits before departing. Ball low. It's 1-0 to Barber with Johnson on deck. 6'1" right-hander. Fresh out of high school, Logan Bredeman. A quick throw to Freeze. Got a quick move to first. The first baseman, Donovan Ratfield, holding the runner on. Tyler Richardson catching for Logan Bredeman. Hit up the middle, fielded by the shortstop Barango. Steps on the bag for one, on to first, and a double play ends the first inning. Great work for Logan Bredeman. No score after 1.
In the bottom of the first inning, the Merchants scored no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. The game remains scoreless as we head into the top of the second inning. Starting top of the second for the Alaska Goldpanners, number 28, first baseman Donovan Ratfield.
Donovan Ratfield leads off for Fairbanks as we start inning number 2 here of our first semifinal game of the day. What a beautiful day it was yesterday for Canada Day. Panners winning 2 big ball games, facing elimination in both. Offense really came to life. 30 runs in the 2 games. 2 balls and no strikes here on Ratfield. And that's a strike. It's 2-1. Ratfield has been a very difficult out, as we've been talking about the last few days. He's 9 for 14 at the Grand Forks International. He's been on base 18 times in 23 plate appearances. 2 balls and 2 strikes against Ryder Vane for the Merchants. The 2-2 swings and hits this one towards third, where it's bobbled, dropped, but able to recover in time is the third baseman Johnson to throw out Ratfield. 5-3 put out, 4 up and 4 down so far for Ryder Vane. And here's Evan Scally. Scally had been 0 for in his Goldpanner start. He was 0 for 8. And then yesterday, he erupted for the Goldpanners. He's now 6 for his last 7, with 5 runs batted in and 5 runs scored. Orange Coast College sophomore from Bend, Oregon. With 1 out and the bases empty, top of the 2nd inning. Goldpanners the road team in this game. Everett the number 1 seed after going 4-0 in round robin play. I find it strange that they're rewarded with the 9 a.m. game. I guess the idea is to give them extra rest before the championship at 3, with the gap in between. But I would find that most teams would like to just get after it again, play the noon game and then 3 p.m. Like the Honkers, they will be playing the Blackfins at noon. 3 balls and a strike here on Scally. A left-hand hitter against the righty Vane. Oof. Home plate umpire says it's a strike, so it's 3-2. Way upstairs for ball 4. So Scally draws the base on balls. Goldpanners have their first base runner, brings up Kobe Williams, Panner third baseman. Defensively for the Merchants, Lucas Delisle is catching for Ryder Vane. Will Herron at first, Aaron Barber at second, Braden Lundberg the shortstop, Jack Johnson at third. In left it's Jordan Justice, Zaya Ackles the center fielder, and Kai Alberghini is deep in right. Slight breeze left to right, but a perfect morning. Last year, the championship game, a massive downpour wiped out the game just after the Studs had pushed the first run of the game across. And so they were awarded victory. The crazy thing was, an hour later, it was beautiful and sunny, but because of the team needing to get across the border before 8 p.m. when it closes, there wasn't time to wait and continue that game. 0-1 on Kobe Williams. Runner at first and 1 out. No score, top 2nd. That one way up high and fouled back and out of play by Williams. Where's number 31? The Goldpanners wearing those new camo jerseys they debuted at the Midnight Sun game. Merchants wearing their black tops. Say Everett across the front. Black caps with the blue bills. There goes the runner. Throw to second base. The throw is there. And out at second base is Scally. Caught stealing goes 2-6. And really wasn't even close. Good throw from Delisle. And the tag by Lundberg. Ball and 2 strikes on Williams. Slaps this one high into the air, and the second baseman Barber back onto the grass will make the catch. That's it for the Goldpanners here in the 2nd. No score after 1.5.
In the top of the 2nd, the Panners scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and no one left on base.
Panners and Merchants here in the semifinals at the Grand Forks International 2023. Panners' last tournament championship was in 2019. The defending champion Seattle Studs were eliminated, didn't even make the quarterfinals, and they quickly left town. Did not see them again after that loss. An unhappy Barry Aiden, to be sure. I believe that's only the second time in the Studs' long history here at the tournament that they did not reach at least the quarterfinals. Swing and a miss. Studs, Burnaby, and the Diamondbacks all were eliminated before the quarterfinals. The Diamondbacks courtesy of the Goldpanners. Daniel Sotelo now into the game, so just one inning on the mound for Logan Redeman. A very good inning. And he remains in the game as the designated hitter. So Daniel Sotelo starts with 2 strikes. Looks for Johnson to chase, but he holds off. It's 1-2. Jack Johnson, Will Herron, and Keaton Fisher. Daniel Sotelo, the left-handed sophomore from Gonzaga out of Phoenix, Arizona, hits the batter. Well, Johnson hit by a 2-strike pitch. Henner's hit a lot of batters yesterday, and on numerous occasions also on 2-strike pitches. So the leadoff man aboard for the second inning in a row for the Merchants. Panners were unable to retire the Merchants 1-2-3 at all in the entire game on Wednesday. Merchants had all sorts of base runners. Had 15 hits, 7 runs, and left a whole lot of guys on base. 15 men left on base in 8 innings for the Merchants. This one is grounded past the diving first baseman Ratfield into right field. And here we go. Merchants have 2 on with nobody out in the second inning. Free passes really hurt the Goldpanners yesterday. 5 of the 7 runners that scored for Coquitlam had reached by walk or hit by pitch. Here's Keaton Fisher with 2 on. Good opportunity here for the Merchants to get on the board in the bottom of the second inning. Corner infielders playing shallow. Called a ball. It's 1-0 to Keaton Fisher, who went 1 for 2 officially in the first meeting with 3 walks. Two and 0. Johnson at second, Herron at first. And there's the strike call, and Fisher rather, disagreed. 2 balls and a strike. Sotelo needing an out here. Getting the signs from Tyler Richardson behind the dish. And a long look at those signs, so time is called. Garrow Von Dane here in Grand Forks. Doesn't look like any rain in the forecast today. Foul ball, it's 2-2. After Fisher is Kai Alberghini. Early morning wake-up call today for this 9 a.m. game. Foul ball. It was a wild night here at the ballpark for that night game. Everybody cheering on the home team, Grand Forks Slag Dusters, but they just couldn't muster up enough offense, falling to the Blackfins 3-1. There was about 6 or 7 streakers. I forgot that that's streaker night here at the ballpark, unofficially. And that ball goes past the catcher Richardson to the backstop, and both runners advance. Second and third, nobody out. And again, the free pass to open the inning really opens the door wide, especially against a team like the Everett Merchants. Sotelo has got his work cut out for him here. It's 3-2 on Fisher. The left-hander Sotelo almost hit him. Hit batsman, a walk, and a base hit here in the inning. And the Merchants have him loaded with nobody out. Kai Alberghini, the right fielder, was 1 for 4 with a couple of runs batted in the first meeting. And he bats here with a fantastic opportunity for the Merchants with nobody out. Sotelo in a jam. It starts with ball 1. A 1-ball pitch from Sotelo. 2-0. He missed low. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of streakers last night as Jack Gonzalez, the pitching coach, is going to come out and talk to his left-hander. They would start in the bleachers, disrobe, if you will, hop the fence and run across the outfield, each time wearing this big, silly Calgary Diamondbacks hat, one of these goofy hats that looks like it's 100 sizes too big. And then hop the fence and disappear into the night. I'm told that before they had the plastic over the top of the chain link fence that there were some injuries to sensitive areas as people leapt over the fence after streaking across the field. Way outside, it's 3-0 as Sotelo starts to work back to Kai Alberghini. Well, big trouble here for Sotelo and the Goldpanners with the bases stacked. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Alberghini. Not even close. Back-to-back walks, and the Merchants are on the board. It's 1-0. Everett doesn't need any help. They're plenty good on their own. But they're getting some here in the second inning. You're wondering why Redeman only pitched 1 inning. It's his first effort of the summer. You got to be careful with those youngsters. Braden Lundberg, the Merchants shortstop. And the 1-strike pitch called strike 2. Lundberg 2 for 4 in the first meeting. Big pitch here from Sotelo. A little high at 1-2. Lundberg and then Lucas Delisle. Outside, 2-2. You want to take care of Lundberg and Delisle here because Zaya Ackles has been nearly impossible to get out at the top of the order. And it looks like the Panner bullpen might get started. Sotelo with a 2-2 count after jumping in front 0-2 on Lundberg. Long look at the signs again, and time is called. You at least got to make him swing the bat here after a couple of free passes. Late swing to stay alive. Just got a piece of it, did Lundberg. Everett Merchants eliminated their arch rival Seattle Studs with a 20-5 victory, a game that the Merchants, it was meaningless to them. They already had the top seed. Way up high for ball 3. The Merchants started on the mound their assistant coach who hadn't pitched in 6 years. And he shut down the studs. Well, it was 0-2. It's now 3-2 on Lundberg. And he missed in the dirt. 3 consecutive walks, also a hit batsman in the inning, and it's 2-0 Merchants. And still nobody out. A right-hander getting loose in the pen, and a nightmare situation for the Goldpanners. Thin on arms, and Daniel Sotelo unable to throw a strike right now. A hit batsman, a single, and 3 walks. And it's 2-0 Merchants here in the second inning. And it looks like Andrew Tropman starting to throw for the Goldpanners. Well, let's see what Sotelo can do to the number 9 hitter, Lucas Delisle. You're in a tough spot here because if Delisle finds a way on base, then you're really in danger of falling into a gigantic hole early in the game. 2-0. The Merchants can just walk up there without a bat right now. Sotelo having trouble throwing a strike. There's a strike, and it's popped up and out of play, foul territory. The inning started with a hit batsman on a 2-strike pitch. Will Herron singled into right field, but then 3 consecutive walks. Have 2 runs on the board and nobody out. Top of the order due up. Here's the 2-1 to Delisle. Fouled off. 2-2. Manners need an out here any way they can get it. Infield at regular depth. The 2-2. Hit to the right side. Fielded at second base. There's nobody at first. They're not going to get an out. Nobody covered first base. And another run scores, and a nightmarish situation here in the second. That's all for Sotelo. We'll be back to Grand Forks. It's 3-0 Merchants. They have them loaded with nobody out.
The pitcher for the Goldpanners, number 44, Andrew Tropman.
Andrew Tropman enters the game, the Fairbanks native, sophomore at UT Permian Basin. And starts with ball 1 to Zaya Ackles. Zaya Ackles 1 for 1 in the game. 4 for 6 against the Goldpanners in this tournament. Bases loaded, nobody out. Trotman throws one in the dirt. It's stopped by the catcher Richardson, and it's 2-0. Panners, their own worst enemy here in the second inning. And now facing the top of the order, still nobody out, and still the bases are loaded. 3 runs across. And the 2-0 from Trotman. 3-0. 3 walks, a hit batsman, and a single where no one covered first base on a ground ball to second. And also another single into right. The 3-0, and it's a 4-pitch walk. Ackles gets the RBI, and still the Merchants don't have to swing the bat. Alberghini comes in to score, and the merry-go-round continues for the Merchants. It's 4-0 here in the second. And the Merchants saying, I didn't expect it to be this easy. Panners have got to make them put a ball in play and then just manage responsibilities. Jordan Justice struck out swinging in the first. The Panners already their 3rd pitcher. And there's a strike. It's 1-1. Trotman has been very dependable this year, and Panners counting on him to stop the bleeding here. Swinging a foul ball. It's 1-2. This has been a long second inning, and Jordan Justice is the 8th batter of the inning. Did he swing? No. On appeal, they say no. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pop foul out of play. A hit batsman, 4 walks. Swing and a miss. Trotman strikes out Justice. Justice has been a K victim in both plate appearances, and that is a huge first out. And now you hope Trotman can induce Aaron Barber into another double play. Panners trying to stay in this game before it gets out of hand. Trotman's 1-ball pitch. This one is hit into center field, and it is going to drop for a base hit. 1 run will score, a second will be waved around, and he will score. And it's 6-0 Merchants. Aaron Barber with a 2-run single into center field. Lundberg and Delisle both score. Over to third goes Ackles on the play. And the 10th batter of the inning is Jack Johnson. He was hit by a pitch with a 1-2 count to open up this inning.
Third baseman number 24, Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson with runners at the corners. Well, they're not loaded now. Panners fell behind to the Merchants 3-0 in the first inning on Wednesday and almost were able to fight back. But now trailing 6-0 in the second inning. And yes, the run rule is in effect for this game. 8 runs after 7. The 2-0 swing and a miss. If you're looking for the bright side, the Panners pounded out all sorts of hits and runs yesterday. Hopefully they can do the same today and make this a game. right now, Trotman needs to get an out. Strike called. It's 2-2 to Jack Johnson with Will Herron on deck. Trotman takes a look at the runner at first. Now at third. Popped up, foul territory. Is there room to make a play? No. It lands into the seats on the first base side. Stays 2-2 to Jack Johnson. Some fans bathed in sunlight in the bleachers. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and hit softly towards third. They throw to first, not in time. Just a roller in the grass on the third base side. Turns into another RBI base hit. An infield hit for Jack Johnson. And it's 7-0. The Merchants lead by a touchdown. The 11th batter of the inning, and just one out recorded. That was a strikeout of Jordan Justice. Here's Will Herron. He singled and scored earlier this inning. 7-0 Merchants, all here in the second inning. Panner mistakes and some breaks for the Merchants. A long break for starting pitcher Ryder Vane. We'll have to see how that affects him whenever we get to the next inning. Got to get a double play ball here if you can. But right now you need to throw a strike. It's 3-0. Strike called. It's 3-1 now on Herron with Keaton Fisher on deck. Big 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. The 5th walk of the inning.
Now batting designated hitter number 33, Keaton Fisher.
And the bases are loaded once again for Keaton Fisher. And one out. Takes a strike. The Panners were feeling really good about things this morning. They're a confident group, ready to come out here and win 2. But they have dug themselves a gigantic hole here in the second inning. And it's 0-2 on Fisher. Way outside, 1-2. Richardson, a good job just to field that one. And the Merchants bullpen is going to get started. Because this is just simply... No, that's just Ryder Vane trying to stay loose. Misses 2-2. Two and two from Trotman to Fisher. Strike 3 called. A gigantic second out. As he gets Fisher looking. And now got to take care of Alberghini. And the way the Panners have been swinging the bats over the last 24 hours, 7-0 isn't insurmountable. But they're in trouble now. Already their 3rd pitcher of the day. This one is smashed to left on the run. And it's over the head of Scally. Look out. 1, 2 runs will score. And it's 9-0 Merchants. Alberghini drives in a pair. Braden Lundberg is the 14th batter of the inning. The Merchants had a 10-run inning against the Studs. They have scored 9 so far in this inning. Braden Lundberg drew a bases-loaded walk earlier this inning. Daniel Sotelo started this inning and had a very difficult outing. Sotelo 0 innings, and he will be charged with 6 runs. The 2-1 fouled back. Two and 2 to Lundberg. 2 outs. Runners at second and third. Gets the swing and the miss. That puts an end to the second inning, but not before the Merchants score 9 runs. It's 9-zip Everett as we head to the third.
In the bottom of the second inning, the Everett Merchants scored 9 runs on 4 hits. There was 1 error and 2 men left on base. As to the top of the third inning, the Merchants lead the Goldpanners 9-0.
Well, the Panners better get to work sooner rather than later. We're in the third inning, but it's Everett 9, Goldpanners 0. Yep. If you woke up a little late and joined this game, yeah. Yeah. This one is popped up high, left field, and a long run, and unable to make the catch. Oh, it landed in foul territory just by inches. Tyler Richardson almost had a bizarre pop fly base hit and still have to go back and pick up the lumber. He was all the way to second base. Richardson, Alfaro, and Barango have not even batted yet in the game, and the Panners trail up by 9. Richardson against Ryder Vane, who had a long time to wait between innings. Was trying to stay loose out in the bullpen. It's a ball and a strike here on Richardson. And it's popped up in center field. Coming in is Ackles, and he will make the catch. 1 up and 1 down. Panners looking for their first base hit here in the third inning, and it's Eddie Alfaro will stand in. Alfaro, a pinch hit home run yesterday against Calgary. Then he pitched against the Angels, facing the minimum 6 batters in 2 innings, and he hits a shot into left for a base hit. Eddie Alfaro, a 1-out single. First hit of the game for the Goldpanners. Let's see if they can get something here positive in the third inning. After a forgetful second, Merchants with 9 runs on 5 hits in that inning, 6 hits overall, but 5 walks and a hit batsman in the inning. Ducking out of the way of that high pitch was Barango. Panners with a runner on and 1 out here in the top of the third. Ryder Vane working to tie Barango. And they are paying a lot of attention to the runner at first base in this 9-0 game. Barango 7 for his last 14 at the plate. In for a strike. Carlos Gonzalez was wrestling with the idea of moving him up in the lineup, or that, it's a tough question. Or do you just leave him at the 9 spot where he's thriving? He swings and hits this one high into right field, drifting back a few steps to make the catch is Alberghini. Back to first goes Alfaro. Top of the order for Carl Peters. In the top of the third inning. The Goldpanners down by a 9 spot.
Back to the top of the order for the Alaska Goldpanners, center fielder number 10, Carl Peters.
Garrow Von Dane here in Grand Forks. A difficult start to this one. Hit to third. Throw across to first in time, and quickly the Goldpanners retired here in the third. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. It's the Merchants 9, the Goldpanners 0.
No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Quick scheduling reminder, folks, coming up at 12 o'clock, game 22, the other semifinal. That will see the visiting Seattle Blackfins taking on the home Northwest Honkers. The winner of this morning's game and the winner of that league game will face off together at 3 p.m. game 25 for the big old final of the 2023 Grand Forks International.
Goldpanners and Merchants here in the first semifinal game of the day. The second will be the Seattle Blackfins against the 2-seed Northwest Honkers. The Finns defeating the Slag Dusters last night, disappointing the home fans. They were still having a great time, though. Awesome night at the ballpark. Saturday night at the GFI is always legendary. 1-ball pitch from Trotman gets a swing and a foul ball back to the wall off the bat of Lucas Delisle. The Merchants scoring 9 runs in the second inning, sending 14 batters to the plate. Control issues for the Goldpanners. A mental error. A soft roller base hit for the Merchants. And a couple of hard hit balls. There's a swing and a miss. And Trotman strikes out Delisle. Trotman, the third pitcher for the Goldpanners. Logan Redeman making his pitching debut through just 1 scoreless inning. And Daniel Sotelo started the second. He hit the first batter of the inning. Then gave up a single to right. Then walked 3 in a row. And then on a ground ball to second, nobody covered first base. So Tello did not go to the bag. And the first baseman, Ratfield, had gone to try to field that ball. And the horrors continued in the second inning, to the tune of 9 Everett runs. 2 balls and a strike. Trotman to Zaya Ackles. Skies this one in the infield. Trotman pointing at it. Alfaro, who's going to... Absolutely nobody called for the baseball. Everybody came in and then looked around. And the ball lands right behind the pitcher's mound. Sometimes there are no words. That's a single for Zaya Ackles. And there goes the runner with a 9-0 lead in the third. But the ball is fouled back. Jordan Justice has struck out both times in the game, including once versus Trotman. And it's 1-1. Throw to first, runner back safely. Up and away. Jordan Justice in the 2 spot. He'll be followed by Aaron Barber. Hit right back to Trotman, who's got it in the glove. Turns, throws to second for one, on to first, and a nice 1-6-3 double play turned by Trop. Quick with the glove. 9-0 Merchants.
In the bottom of the third inning, there were no runs on no hits, 1 error, and no one left on base. After 3 complete innings, the Everett Merchants lead the Alaska Goldpanners 9-0.
Grand Forks International, just a great event. One of the best tournaments around. Has been for a long time. I'd like to thank all the staff here for doing such a great job and taking good care of us here. We don't always get that at tournaments. Sometimes you show up and you seem like an unwelcome guest. But this one, much different. They love the Panners here, and they've been very good to us over the years. A consistent group here, too. I think that's what helps this tournament a lot in terms of the leadership. 1 ball pitch is hit high and deep to right, but looking to be underneath it in front of the fence and making the catch is the right fielder Aberghini. Hard hit ball by Smelko, but the park held it in. Ball not carrying like it was yesterday. And brings Logan Redham into the plate. Pitched a scoreless first. He's in the lineup as the DH as well. Struck out swinging to end the first inning. The Panners trail 9-0. 4th inning of work for Ryder Vane. Panners would like to get something going offensively as soon as possible because they trail it by 9 as we start inning number 4. Hit to first. Heron stabs it, steps on the bag, and quickly 2 down. In the fourth, Panners 1 base hit. That was Eddie Alfaro's 1-out single in the third. One other base runner, Evan Scally, walked in the second and then was caught stealing. Panners all that offense yesterday. They're going to have to find some of that here today and do it quickly. 34 hits yesterday, 30 runs in those 2 short games. 1-0 to Donovan Ratfield. Noon is the scheduled time for the Blackfins and Honkers. Fastball upstairs, 2-1. Hit high into shallow left field off the bat of Ratfield, and Justice, a couple steps in, will make the catch in a 1-2-3 fourth for Ryder Vane. Panners trail it by 9.
That 3M retires the side, taking us to the bottom of the fourth.
Nine-zip Merchants as Everett bats here in the bottom half of inning number 4. And yes, the 8-run rule is in effect, so Panners need to get to work offensively soon. But first, Trotman's got to keep the Merchants from scoring any more runs. And making a nice sliding catch from his position in center is Carl Peters. Coming in towards shallow right and making a sliding grab. Take care of the first out of the inning and retire Aaron Barber. Here's Jack Johnson, who has scored 2 runs in the game. The Merchants with a 9-run second inning. 14 batters coming to the plate. Hit batsman. 5 walks in the inning. A few base hits. And the nightmare unfolded in the second inning, and that's why the Panners are behind by 9 here in the fourth. Ball and a strike to Johnson. I was talking to the guys in press row here this morning, and we were talking about, I was crediting them with some of the great Canadian music they've been digging up in this tournament. And he said, you know, what's funny is yesterday on Canada Day, we played 100% Canadian music, and we had a complaint from someone saying, why don't you guys play some Canadian music? It's Canada Day. And he said, we are literally playing 100% Canadian music. Trotman hits Jack Johnson with a pitch, and to which the complainer responded, well, where's the Celine Dion? And they said, sorry, we're not going to play any Celine Dion. But I was asking, where's the Triumph? Where's the April Wine? Here's a high pop fly into shallow left center. And in is Peters to make the catch after a long run. Throws to first, but Johnson back safely. You got to get some Triumph and April Wine in there, right? I think I heard Helix. I'll have to ask our bus driver, Steve. He would know. He's a local and a music fan and a musician. Liner into left field, a base hit for Keaton Fisher. 2 on with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th for the Merchants. For Kai Alberghini, who's got an RBI bases loaded walk and a 2-run double so far in the game. Daniel Sotelo started the 2nd inning. He is charged with 6 runs on 2 base hits, 3 walks, a hit batsman in no innings of work. The ERA for Sotelo going to take a hit, as he has had a difficult Grand Forks International. There were certainly question marks when it came to pitching here on the final day of the tournament with, you're just thin at this point when you've played a lot of games like the Goldpanners have. But really expected the offense as Trotman strikes out Alberghini to end the fourth inning. 9-0 Merchants.
In the bottom of the 4th inning, no runs scored on 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We're going to be doing a single draw for the raffle prizes this game because the raffle prizes are getting bigger and better. So just one draw a little bit later this game. But if you have not picked up your raffle tickets on your way into the ballpark, stop down to Guestulations at the front gate there as you face the grandstand. Get your free raffle ticket. We'll be doing a draw for a prize here in another inning or 2. And don't forget to flag down the 50-50 sellers as they're making their way around the park. Get your 50-50 tickets as well.
Goldpanners trail 9-0 as we start the 5th inning in this GFI semifinal game. First of 2, it'll be the Seattle Blackfins and 2-seed Northwest Honkers after this. And a base hit to right on the first pitch to Evan Scally. He's been on base twice in the game. Evan Scally singles to right. Time for the Panners to get some offense going if they want to have any hopes of making this a game. Kobe Williams popped up to second in his first at bat. Curveball down low. It's 1-0, 9-0. All 9 runs coming across in the 2nd inning for the Merchants. As Panner pitching fell apart. This one is grounded. And a stop at second, the flip to the bag for 1. No double play as Lundberg couldn't get the baseball out of his glove. 4-6 putout of Scally at second base. Fielder's choice for Williams, and now Tyler Richardson. And if the Panners could get even half the offense they got in those games yesterday, they could make this a game. But just 2 base hits so far. Let's see if Tyler Richardson can do. Flew out to center in his first at bat. Goldpanner catcher. Panners in those camo jerseys today. Ryder Vane has not had to break a sweat yet today. The right-hander for the Merchants. He must be concerned with his ERA, though. He really paying a lot of attention anytime the Panners get a runner at first with a 9-0 lead. Panners will travel tomorrow, head back to Fairbanks. And the next game action will be against the Men's League All-Stars on Thursday, June 6th. And then the Seattle Blackfins are in town, and so is the Philly Fanatic. Yeah, that one, that guy, the Philly Fanatic. He will be in Fairbanks. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tyler Richardson with a runner at first base and 1 out. And it's popped up. Calling off Vane is the first baseman Heron, who makes the catch for out number 2. The Merchants, meanwhile, might be starting to look ahead to the championship game, who you would think would be the Honkers. They have scored 1 million runs. They will play the Blackfins, who have not scored a whole lot in this tournament. And with as well as the Honkers hit the ball, the Merchants want to have as many fresh arms as they can have for that championship game later today. So they would probably like to see Ryder Vane go the distance, if possible, or as long as possible. This is downstairs. It's 1-1 to Eddie Alfaro, who's 1 for 1 with a single. And the way things are going, the Merchants might be able to finish this game in 7 innings. A ball and 2 strikes. And it's 2-2 as he misses away. Two-way player for the Goldpanners takes a ball outside. He's batting just 107 despite that home run yesterday in a pinch hitting role. 4 for 29 with that base hit earlier. Throw to first, and they say he's out. They pick off the runner at first base for the final out of the inning. It's that kind of day. 9-0 Merchants. All Merchants here today after a 9-run second inning. And we are in the bottom of the 5th with the same score. Andrew Trotman back out Trying to face Lundberg, Delisle, and then the top of the order, Ackles. If it does end up being the Merchants and Honkers, that'll be a very interesting game. Between those two PIL rivals. But the Blackfins are going to try and have something to say about it later today. It is scheduled for a noon start. And if the Panners do not score some runs, then this game will be over after 7. Lundberg thought he had ball 4, but it's ball 3. Can you fault the Merchants for losing a little bit of concentration? The 3-1. Swung on and popped out of play. Harold Pyatt, who started this Merchants team many decades ago, has one of his better looking teams this year. He's had a bunch over the years. Finished as the NBC runners-up a few years ago, only losing to the team comprised of all ex-major leaguers because they had to face Roy Halladay in the championship game. They've come close on a few other occasions. And they won it all back in 1988. The 3-2, up high for ball 4. Where he does end up walking, does Lundberg, and here's Lucas Delisle. Between innings, Brett Latchman was showing his extreme displeasure with the pickoff call at first base. And Brett probably letting some of that frustration boil over too after the way things have transpired in this game. Ground ball to short, flip to the bag for 1, on to first, and a 6-4-3 double play, and 2 away. Took a weird bounce on the shortstop Barango. Still able to turn 2. Top of the order for Ackles, who's been on base all 3 times. Infield hit, a bases loaded walk, and a single. Ackles at the top of the order for the Merchants has been devastating, and he drops this one into center field past the sliding attempt by Peters. Backing up the play is Scally, and they will try to get the runner out at third. Tag is down, and out at third is Ackles. And that's it for the Merchants here in the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. Panners need runs.
In the bottom of the 5th inning for the Merchants, no runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base.
We go to inning number 6. This one's scheduled for 9, but the Panners in trouble of having an abbreviated game today. But there's a base hit to left to open up the 6th inning. And he's going to try for 2, and the throw to second. And safe is the call as he's able to slide under the tag as Alfaro turns it into a double. Eddie Alfaro 2 for 2 in the game, and 3 for his last 3. And Harold Pyatt is coming out to argue this call at second base. Harold Pyatt, with a 9-0 lead in the 6th inning, is out at second base. Now, I mentioned Brett Latchman his frustration showing a little bit, but Harold Pyatt should be a pretty happy guy right now. His team is undefeated here in Grand Forks, and they've got a 9-0 lead in the semis. Ty Barango will bat now with Gold at second base. This is the first time the Panners have had a runner in scoring position today. And it's up and in. 3 base hits for the Goldpanners. 2 of those belong to Eddie Alfaro. Curveball away, it's 2-0. After Barango, the top of the order, Carl Peters. Hey, you get Barango on here. See if you can get something cooking before it's too late. Drops that one in for a strike. It's 2-1. Decent crowd for this morning game, most of which are in the shade above us. Oh, boy. Looked to be well high, but it's strike 2. Well, Barango with the runner at second and nobody out. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strikes out Barango. We go to the top of the order for Carl Peters. Well, it's definitely hard to sustain that pace the Panners had over the last 24 hours with all that offense. And the first pitch is popped up into left by Peters. Caught for out number 2. And now Eric Smelko, who's 0 for 2 in the game, gave one a ride in the 4th inning when it was caught step in front of the fence by the right fielder Alberghini. Goldpanners trailing 9-0, but have a runner at second base. Now 2 away. It's way outside to Smelko. Love seeing our loyal PannerVision viewers and listeners checking in on the YouTube chat. Yeah, if you woke up late, oh boy, maybe you should have stayed in bed. A 9-run second inning. The Merchants sent 14 batters to the plate. Control problems really opening the door to a big inning. A hit batsman to open the inning, a single, and 3 consecutive walks. Then a mental error where no one covered first base on a roller to the right side. And Panners were in deep you-know-what. 2-1 the count on Smelko. Panners need by the next inning to cut this to at least a 7-run game where it's going to end. Hit to the right side, but fielded by Heron, who will step on the bag for out number 3. Panners waste a leadoff double. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Merchants by 9.
No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Folks, grab your raffle tickets. Let's do the raffle number announcement here. The prize for this game is a gift bag courtesy of U.S. Trading Company, local health food store. And that gift bag has got a value of about $200. So, gift bag from U.S. Trading Company, the health food store here in Grand Forks, worth about $200 if you happen to have this lucky raffle ticket number. 1, 2, 8, 6, 6, 2. So check your raffle tickets. 1, 2, 8, 6, 6, 2 is our lucky number. If you have that ticket number, take it down to guest relations to claim your prize. A $200 gift bag courtesy of U.S. Trading Company. 1, 2, 8, 6, 6, 2.
Well, last time these two teams met, it was on Wednesday. It was a great game. And not so much today. And for the second time in the game, a baseball is fouled back, sneaks through the netting, and lands right in front of me in the identical spot to the first time. Weirdness. Trotman back out, and he hits the batter on a 1-strike pitch. Jordan Justice hit by a pitch to open up the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Panners obviously don't want to give up any more runs because they need at least 2 to keep this game going in the 7th. And they don't want to make that mountain even higher. Barber is 1 for 3. And he gives this one a ride to deep right center. And it will short hop the wall. Coming around third and scoring is Justice. And into second base with an RBI double is Aaron Barber's 3rd RBI of the game. And it's 10-0 Merchants lead by double digits. They would love to end this game in 7 innings. Not use any more pitching and get a nice rest before the 3 p.m. championship game. Everett in the tournament, they beat Calgary in the opener 8-1. Then they won that 7-6 game against the Goldpanners. They handled Grand Forks and dominated the Studs. So other than that first meeting with Fairbanks, they have barely been tested. And they're certainly not being tested today. They will have their hands full with the Honkers. If the Honkers play anything like they have been. And Marty Lawrence will have his team ready. 1-1 to Jack Johnson, who's been on base 3 times, twice hit by pitch, also singled. Panners with just 3 hits today. Only 1 time have had a runner in scoring position. Three and 1, Trotman to Johnson. Line to right, that's a base hit. On 1 hop, Smelko throws it in. And Merchants at the corners now with nobody out. you should almost consider drawing the infield in here because Panners can't give up any more runs with the run rule situation. Will Herron 1 for 2, singled and scored in that second inning. Every batter in the lineup, with the exception of one, scored in that second. Ground ball to third. They'll throw to second for one, on to first, not in time. The runner stays put at third. Wait, what's the call? Oh, he didn't slide at second, so it is a double play. I was screened by the home plate umpire. And so 2 away, and Barber stays put at third. Keaton Fisher the batter, and the score remains 10-0. The first break for the Goldpanners today. This one is hit high down the left field side, slicing foul. Left-handed hitting Keaton Fisher against the right-hander Andrew Trotman. Thought about it, takes a strike. 1-2. 2 outs, a runner at third. 1 run is in. It's 10-zip Merchants in the bottom of the 6th. For the Goldpanners in the 7th, it will be Redeman, Ratfield, and Scally to try and keep this game going. Panners have not been shut out in the tournament. Their lowest run output was 2 in the first game with the Coquitlam Angels. The Angels and Diamondbacks are seeing this score right now. They're probably a little baffled. Deep to center field on the run, and making the catch in center is Carl Peters. Merchants pick up 1, and they lead it by 10. The Panners need at least 2 to extend this game when we come back.
In the bottom of the 6th inning, there was 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Heading into the top of the 7th inning, the Merchants lead the Goldpanners 10-0.
Panners need at least 3 here, or this game will come to an end after this half inning. Top of the 7th from the Grand Forks International. It is semifinal game number 1. The second game, beginning at noon, will be the 2-seeded Northwest Hawkers against the Seattle Blackfins. Logan Redeman leads off. It'll be Redeman, Ratfield, and Scally to try and keep the Panners with a pulse. And it's 0-1 from Ryder Vane, who has gone the distance and has allowed just 3 base hits. He has walked 1. Only 1 has reached second base. The Merchants sent 14 batters to the plate in the second inning. Had a scoreless first. Looked like we might have a game, but that all changed in the second inning. Control problems dooming the Goldpanners, and this one is hit right to the second baseman, Barber. Redeman is out number 1. 0 for 3 day for Logan at the plate. Pitched a scoreless first inning. And Donovan Ratfield 0 for 2. Even he has been held in check after a marvelous tournament. He's now 9 for 16. Again, the Panners will travel tomorrow with the bus for Spokane, fly to Seattle, and then north to Fairbanks. North to Alaska. Have a couple of days to reset and take on the Men's League All-Stars on Thursday before the Seattle Blackfins come to town. Be sure to join us for PannerVision as we're back in video form when we get back. Just didn't have the bandwidth to do it here. This one has popped up, foul territory, and it will get out of play to the trees. Ratfield fighting in there, 2 balls and 2 strikes with Scally on deck. Scally's been on base twice. Let's see if Ratfield can get on. Up high, ball 3. A 3-2 pitch. Hit towards third. Backhanded stop on 1 hop by Johnson, who throws across, and it's dug out of the dirt by Heron. And the Panners down to their last out here in the 7th inning. They need 3 runs or this game is over. Tough one to swallow. Panners just never with a shot in this game after that difficult second. But they have no one to blame but themselves. And the Merchants have played mistake-free baseball today. And this one's lined into the gap in left center. And what a day for Scally, as he has been unbelievable over the last 24 hours. He's 2 for 2 today. So in the last 24 hours, he's 8 for 10. We'll make that 8 for 9 with 5 RBIs, 5 runs scored. And this ball is hit high into center field by Williams on the first pitch. And that is your ball game. The Goldpanners fall to the Everett Merchants in 7 innings by a final score of 10-0. Goldpanners held to 4 base hits in the game. Their lowest output of the tournament. And pitching lets them down in the second inning as everything fell apart in that 9-run inning with 14 batters coming to the plate. The Merchants added a run in the 6th and earned the victory without barely breaking a sweat on a hot morning in Grand Forks. And will the 2 teams shake hands? And we're waiting to find out. Some confusion here. Andrew Trotman hands the rosin bag to head coach Brett Latchman. A frustrating day for Coach Latch and his Goldpanners, as they were never in it, and they fall by a final score of 10-0. The Merchants, with ease, cruise into today's championship game, which will start at 3 p.m. Look for it on the GFI website, because this is the end of our broadcast time here in Grand Forks. The Seattle Blackfins will take on the Northwest Honkers at noon, and the Merchants will play for the championship at 3. Congratulations to Coach Harold Pyatt, the general manager of the Merchants, He's 5-0 here at the GFI. Goldpanners will lick their wounds, enjoy the rest of the day, and then board the bus late tomorrow morning, bound for Spokane as we head back to the US of A. Huge thanks to everyone here at the Grand Forks International for putting on an amazing tournament and taking great care of us. We appreciate them all, and big time thanks to all of our PannerVision viewers and listeners for tuning into Goldpanners baseball throughout the tournament and early this morning on a Sunday. We bid farewell to beautiful Grand Forks, British Columbia for 2023. The Panners will finish either third or fourth. We'll find that out after the next game, but at any rate, they are eliminated from contention. Your final score from James Donaldson Park, the Everett Merchants 10, the Goldpanners nothing. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. We'll see you in Fairbanks on Thursday against the Men's League All-Stars. Tune in, turn on, and pan out. Good afternoon, everyone. Garo Von Dane saying, so long.
So it's a little bit unusual for us here at the GFI to have a nice long gap between games, but enjoy your time here wandering around the ballpark, and don't forget to check out that Grand Forks International Hall of Fame, and we'll get the field crew lots of time to get organized for our next game scheduled for 12 o'clock, and that will be on time against the visiting Seattle Black Fins and the home Northwest